It's you and me, no place I'd rather be. Ding dong, hello, let's make this house a home. Welcome to Spencer and Sarah's house.
Oh hi, oh hi, oh hi, oh hi.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I am recovering from a cold and just a rough week in general. So I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning because my nose was so stuffed up I couldn't breathe out of it.
Oh.
It was rough. Yeah, but I'm okay. I'm just like so tired. I feel like I haven't like recovered my energy fully, but the rest of me feels like I can deal. I saw my niece and nephew recently too, and they're really chatty and they talk a lot. And I realized I don't think I've ever worn a short-sleeved shirt around them.
Wow.
Or at least around this point in time where they are like cognizant. Because my niece saw my arm tattoo and she was like, dat, which is like, that's their way of saying like, what's that? I was like, tattoo. And she was like, tattoo. And then I showed her this up here and she kept going, berry. And I was like, yes, tattoo. But then she kept pulling up this sleeve being like, why is it not on both? They're hilarious. They're so crazy.
I love that.
I'm supposed to be Auntie Duck to them, but they can't say Auntie yet. It comes out Netney.
Yeah.
So like, Nanny Duck? It's really cute. Yeah, so I'm okay. I'm just grumpy. I'm so
cute.
tired. How are you? Is this the first episode we'll have filmed since you turned 30?
Yeah, it is. So I'm the big 30 now.
How does it feel to be 30 now?
It feels good. I just feel like I have more sense of self. I feel like, yeah, I'm just like, I just feel like I know myself a lot better now. I think taking that time, which I think I talked about in that one of the recent episodes, was like taking that time to appreciate my 20s, which I was like able to do and like talk with my therapist about it too. And I feel like I really like made peace and was like ready to turn 30 in like a nice way. So I feel good. Yeah.
I feel like I'm clinging to the 20s. I'm not ready to let go.
But the 30s are going to be so exciting. It's filled with whatever we want it to be filled with.
It's just funny. It seemed like such a faraway thing. Like the real adulting of life begins. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I feel like for me, the concept of turning 31 is going to be weird to me. Because I'm like, I think in my mind, I'm like, 30 is like, okay, like I've like grown out of my 20s, I'm good here. But it's the fact that more numbers are going to keep happening, and that's where I'm like, okay, wait, but like I'm not like, hang on though, because I haven't changed. I'm like, I've got Kuromi stuff, and I just got this other mug. I'm like, I'm a 30-year-old with a Gudetama mug. And I'm like, I'm gonna be 37 and doing the same exact shit, which is fine. That's what I want to do.
Kick that to the curb, because I have started making a junk journal for myself that I'm gonna be completing from the day I turn 30. Like, that will be the year for me, is like my birthday to my birthday. And I was like, pink and white checkerboard, and I'm cutting out flowers, and I'm like drawing all these cute thingies. And I was like, is this like immature to still be doing this when I'm in my 30s? But also, like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, it makes me happy. My therapist once, I told her, I was like, I feel like I'm so childish. And she was like, well, there's a difference between, like, God, I wish I could remember what she said, because she said it to me once a long time ago. But it was, like, basically the sentiment of it is, like, you know, connecting with your inner child and doing things that are make you happy. It's very different than, like, if you're not emotionally maturing and, like, staying in that sort of, like younger mindset, right? Of, like, being an unempathetic adult. So it's like, Who's it harming? Fuck it. I don't care. I have strawberry purses, and I don't give a fuck. I'm starting to really become jealous of bird watchers. I kind of want to do it, but it looks like a lot. Like all the gear they wear. I'm like, I just like to appreciate and see the birds when I'm like walking in the park, but I'm like, what are they? I want to get into it.
No, I was getting into it a bit when I was living in Nottingham, and outside my room, pigeons would just hang out on the roof, so I would watch pigeons all the time, and I started to learn like some of their quirks and what they did, and I was like, damn, these pigeons are awesome.
Yeah, there's a girl I follow on Instagram. It's been a while, but there's like a yearly competition of like I don't know who puts it on, but it's like an official type of thing where it's like for artists and it's like the best duck painting and it goes in like a collection of some kind that's like really prestigious and important. And she's been like showcasing like, oh, this is the type of duck I'm painting, this is the composition of how I'm going to paint this duck, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's intense, and I'm really impressed. I also didn't realize how many duck species there were.
Yeah. There's orange ducks over here.
What do you mean? Like how there are orange cats? Or are they like a orangey brown?
They're like they're called they've got orange in them. They're called mandarin ducks. And they've got orange in them, and the first time I saw them I was like, why is that duck? I was like, what is that? And someone was like, it's a duck. I was like, it's orange. And they were like, yeah.
No. Oh my god, did I tell you? Okay, real quick sidebar. I don't have I talked about the Garfield curse on here? I don't know if I have. I have to have, right?
Garfield curse?
I've never told you, but I feel like I tell everyone about this. Okay.
Oh, I don't know if I know about this.
I have been seeing Garfield every day for the past like 2 years now. It's either like on social media or like somebody mentions him. I drive by like a store and there's selling a Garfield plushie. Like he is involved in my daily activities, and it's weird. Like it's so scary. But I had the craziest Garfield curse the other day where I was like just scrolling through Instagram. Whoa. And I've been having a lot of like thrift videos on there. And this video opened and it was like, oh, I thrifted this beheaded Garfield from a Goodwill. And it was like a cardboard cutout of Garfield without his head. And I was like, does this count? I can't believe I've never told you about that. I've told everyone about that, especially our friend Claire, because she posts a lot of Garfield memes on Instagram, so a lot of my things happen from her. So, like, I'll, like, be going through everyone's stories, and then it's, like, Garfield. I'm like, stop doing this. This is an official call-out.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I can't, like, I got really into him, like, 2 years ago, because I heard they were remaking the Garfield movie. God, who was it originally? Bill Murray who voiced him or something. So I was like talking about that movie with my sister on Disney because it was on Disney Plus or something. And then it was like every day since that had happened, I was like seeing him, and I was like, what is going on? Like,
yeah, you are being haunted. Well, today we've got a bring your own topic episode. Do you want to go first? I think the last episode I went first.
I can go first. Yeah. Let me get set up. Okay, you can open your eyes.
Just waiting for Oh, hell yeah.
Look. Maybe there's a reason Garfield's on my mind today. I would just also like to say I created this cat judge. I did some cropping with stock photos. So
that's awesome. So good.
Yeah. So look, if you're just listening to this, there's an orange cat holding a gavel on your screen right now. And this presentation is called In Defense of Cats. Here we go. So this all started because I saw two very unfortunate posts recently that just boiled my blood. Because they're two people I really love and respect and like, and I was really mad about it. The first one was Jessie Buckley. This was something that resurfaced from a November 2025 interview with her and Paul Mescal, where they both dunked on cats. It was really upsetting. Paul Mescal was like, fuck cats, I hate cats. I'll just read this quote. Jessie Buckley said, I don't like cats. Cats are mean. My husband, when I started dating him, he had 2 cats. This is bad, so I'm going to get canceled. And then she continued to say this anyway. But one of the cats was like a pedigree model bitch, and she staged like a coup against me. I'd come home and there'd just be like poo on my pillow. And I was like, it's me or the cats, but I won. So she made her husband get rid of the cats, which is crazy behavior.
Yikes.
Crazy behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. And Miss Dochi of this year, just of March of this year, people act like it's a crime to dislike cats when they genuinely aren't friendly animals. They don't want to be domestic. Just leave them alone. Like, it's not organic. I'm sorry. Be for real. It's rare that cats are immediately lovely without years of pain and work put in. Y'all be scratched and beat the fuck up by your own animals. I can't. LMAO. Okay, this boiled my fucking blood.
Yeah.
Because I think anybody who's like, oh, you have pets in your life that you've had for years, you need to get rid of them if you want to be with me. That's crazy. You are joining this family. You need to adapt and learn. Okay? Mm-hmm. Secondly, cats don't want to be domesticated. The very breed of cat that everyone has as a pet is literally the domesticated cat. It's a cat that has evolutionarily become domesticated. So, like, as we'll learn later, even feral and stray cats are a part of this same genus. It's just like, whatever. Also, we'll get into it. We're gonna get into it. These are the reasons why I got mad. Okay. Also, coming as somebody who was not a cat person, I was converted to cats. I still love dogs, maybe a little bit more than cats, but I think it's more like I love them in different ways for different reasons.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the origin of the domesticated cat. So this was started in the Near East, around 7500 BCE. Cats became domesticated, so it wasn't like lions, it was like the wild cat out in the world at that time, is what cats are evolved from. Basically, humans used to be very nomadic. They'd go where the resources were. Then, as civilization developed, they began to make permanent settlements. They were obviously storing their food near those settlements. This was attracting rodents and other pests of the lake, animals that happened to be a part of the diet of wildcats. So wildcats, we're like, oh my god, all these rodents, like, coalescing in one place. Like, this is perfect. I'm gonna go eat them. They're a stable food source. They're all right here. And humans were like, dang, look at these wildcats. They're coming in. They're not eating our food. Really, they're just eating the rodents. They're pest control. That's wild. So it was a symbiotic relationship, which I learned in my research is different from the dog domestication. In the sense that, like, cats were symbiotic because they have a food source that we're providing. They're getting rid of pests. I can't remember what the word for this type of relationship is in nature, but with dogs and humans, it was more like, yeah, maybe it was similar, but dogs didn't really need us in that way either. They're bigger. They're, like, able to defend themselves a little better than wild cats were. It's more like we needed them more than they needed us kind of way. That's why it's man's best friend. We're not dog's best friend. Anyway, this led to a natural evolution of domesticated cats. Because they learned humans will keep you around. They're friendly. The new species, this is Felis catus, encompasses pets, strays, and feral cats. They're all a part of this domesticated cat genus that was formed. Yeah, but it's like the same situation as dogs, right? Are you getting mad at mean domesticated dogs saying dogs don't want to be domesticated? Are you saying get rid of the dog? People do that, yes, but it's crazy. It's crazy to ask someone to get rid of a dog, but get rid of a cat, it's fine. Get out of here. Let's get down to it. The behavior. This is where I think people tend to have poor feelings on cats. Okay, cats have a wide range in terms of how they like to live. Some of them are content to just be loners, and either they're the only cat in the household and they prefer it that way, or they're running around on the streets and they're like, I love being alone, it's great, I love it. All the way to they live in colonies of like 40 or 50, 100 cats together, right, in large groups. And in general, I would say with multi-cat households, there's usually one cat that's like the dominant ringleader of the cat circus. But in like large colonies, out in the wild with strays and feral cats, the territory is large. They usually mark it pretty fiercely so you know where it starts and ends. And there's a lot of neutral zones in between the territories, and the cats can, they can have peaceful interactions where they're just like, hey, I know you from colony A. Hey, you're from colony B. This is neutral ground. We're friends and it's fine. Or, they might be like, hey, I don't want to talk to you. That's fine. If cats are living with humans, you as the human now act as the mother surrogate. That's why they meow at you, because that's what kittens do to their moms. That's why cats meow at humans. It's like, we're babies. We're all babies together. Sort of deal. They literally make... I have a thing plugged into my wall right now that releases pheromones that are similar to what the mother cat releases, because we're trying to create a safe environment for them here, right? You're the mother surrogate to this cat, which is why it's an especially heinous, egregious thing to tell someone to get rid of their cat. Okay? And as with dogs, cats can have a wide range of demeanors, from friendly to solitary. I have known cats who want nothing to do with me unless it's on their terms. And I know cats, there's one right over here, who wants to hang out with me all the time. Same with dogs. I know dogs who are like, I'll let you pet me, I guess. And then there are dogs like Winnie, who will just like, you better hold me all day or I'm not going to be happy. It's not a species-specific thing. Here's where I think these cat-hating things were coming from. So there's this thing in cats called redirected aggression, although I feel like this is also kind of universal, but, we're talking about cats here. Where it's especially common in multi-cat households, where there's like, if a cat is triggered by a stimulus, right? Like something's too loud, something's too bright, something's too whatever, too close to in their space, whatever. There's some type of trigger or stimuli. They're getting worked up, but there's no way for them to directly deal with or attack or ward off that stimuli. So they turn it towards the nearest living being that can receive their aggressive signals, and be like, oh, sorry, let me back off here. That happens a lot with our girl cat. She is very easily overstimulated and overwhelmed. And there are times where we'll be like just walking around and she'll suddenly be under the table hissing at us. And we're like, what did we do? What did we do? And it's probably either nothing to do with us, something else has happened, and she's like, you're the only one who can understand that me hissing means get away. So that's where I'm putting this energy towards. Or maybe, we've often noticed when we clean the apartment, she gets like that. It's a lot of movement and activity and, but you recognize it for what it is. She needs her space. Okay, fine. Got it. But that, I think, is what happened here. This cat can't directly attack you because that would be bad. So it's shitting on your pillow to tell you it's got problems. Okay? Would you want it to attack you? Don't get me wrong. It sucks to have that on your pillow. But I just feel like we could have looked deeper here into what was being said. Especially because cats have neuroplasticity, very similar to humans, and very good memories, which basically means their brain is constantly rewiring itself based on its experiences, right? So if they have a negative connotation with something, they're going to remember that later. I believe dogs have some level of this too, but, cats especially. They're going to remember if they had a bad experience, a negative experience, vice versa, if they're given positive reinforcement as well. It's also been found in studies that an owner's knowledge of cats directly affects how they care for their cats, like any pet. So the more you know, the better you're going to understand a cat and the better you're going to know how to take care of them. So maybe the correct approach was to be curious instead of aggressive. Why is this cat doing this? Why do cats scratch? That kind of thing. I think I read a good post recently where People said dogs are people pleasers, cats have boundaries. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
And I love dogs so much, but I do think there is a sort of different approach you have to take. It's not a one size fits all, you know, with cats.
Mm-hmm.
Also, cats have fucking always been loved, okay? Like, this isn't like, it's not cool to hate on cats, okay? They've been around forever. They're beloved, revered even. In ancient Egypt, the goddess Bastet, sorry if I said that wrong, was depicted literally as a cat, a warrior goddess of protection. I'm seeing I put an and in there. Typo, ignore. In ancient Greece and Rome, cats eventually took over as weasels as pest control because, and I quote, they were more pleasant to have around the house and were more enthusiastic hunters of mice, unquote. In Japan, I have it up in the top right here, the Maneki Neko is a sign of good fortune. In Norse mythology, the goddess Freya is depicted in a chariot being drawn by cats. And there are many, many other instances of cats being revered. Okay? They're lovely animals. You get what you put in. In conclusion, as I just jumped the gun on myself, like any pet, you get what you put into them. If you love your cat, you're knowledgeable about them and what it takes to have a cat, you can develop a good relationship with them. There are good cats and bad cats, just like there are good dogs and bad dogs. It's all about environment and love and patience. And the bottom line here is, like, be nice to animals. Be nice to all animals. Stop it. Stop it. Stop demonizing people just because you don't like cats. It's okay to not like cats. It's okay to not prefer cats. That's totally fine. But I think generalizations are bad for people and for pets. Amen.
Hell yeah.
That's the
I
end.
was about to say amen. Hell yeah. Yay.
Yes.
That was good.
Thank you. And look, I feel conflicted because we've talked about it. I love Doechii. Hate this take, though. Jessie Buckley. The Hamnet performance. Incredible. Hate this take, though. Okay? Like, you can totally dislike cats. That's fine. But I think any person, unless the animal is, like, attacking you and is aggressive, I think it's crazy to ask someone you've only been dating for a short amount of time to get rid of their pets. That's wild. I also think it's crazy to, like, hate on people who have cats. What is going on? Why is it cool to hate on cats all of a sudden? Get out of here. Because no one would ever say that about dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would get you canceled.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Also,
yeah, I agree. I'm not much of... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just was going to say a really quick sidebar that doesn't really have anything to do with this, but I found was a little interesting, was there's sort of a weird gender connotation to dogs and cats I read about, where, like, people are like, it's feminine to have a cat and it's masculine to have a dog. And, like, people feel weird when they see, like, a single woman with a dog or a single man with a cat. And they're like,
yeah.
But it's also, like, you get called crazy cat lady for being a woman with a cat. And you get called, like, oh, this hyper masculinity, you and your tough old dog and your single man. Like, it's just like, what are we doing? I just thought it was, like, wild that was even a thing. But it was interesting to read about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. That's very embedded into society, I think.
What were you going to say?
Just that I also am more of a fan of dogs than cats. And I think, like, when I was doing dog sitting and, like, cat visits when I first started that journey, like, I was, like, cool around cats, but there was one cat that was, like, very unfriendly. But, like, it was in the notes that she doesn't like women. And I was like, well, I don't know why you're booking me to do it, but I did everything I could to respect her boundaries. And sometimes she didn't like that, but I tried my best. But I think, yeah, it's like cats are very much like they have boundaries, and you just need to figure out what their vibe is and respect it, is how I get by.
Yeah, here's what else.
Nice.
Yes. And it's funny because, like, I've known dogs who hate men, right? Like, it's like, every animal's gonna have an issue. You know, again, like, when I was only doing research on cats, and it very specifically was making this point about neuroplasticity, but I do feel like dogs are like that too. I
Yeah.
think any animal really is, right? Or most of the time, right? Like I've had this bad experience, I'm cataloging it, right? And it's like
Yes.
also like cats can be trained, dogs can be trained. It's just the approaches are different. Like I love dogs because like most of the time I feel like they're friendly immediately. I'm not really having to put an effort in.
Yeah.
They're playful in like a way that feels like I don't know, symbiotic. I'm throwing a ball for you, you know, that kind of deal. Whereas cats, where it's like, I feel like I take a little softer approach unless like someone's like, oh, this is exactly how my cat is. And it's like, oh, great. With me, I'm kind of like, I'm pointing this laser. I hope you're having a good time because I'm stuck here, sort of deal.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's like anything, right? Like, you put in what you get. If you're going to treat a dog like shit, then it's going to become a really distrusting dog. Same with cats, you know? Although, again, like, cats range. We have a girl cat who's, like, good when she's just, like, really easily overstimulated. This one over here, he couldn't care less. He's just happy to be here. So
Yeah.
it's like any animal has a personality, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Hell yeah.
Yes. I did see somewhere too where someone was like, because cats sort of have boundaries and it's like you kind of have to earn their trust. A lot of people see it as like a red flag if you don't like cats. It's like, oh, you don't like boundaries? You don't like having to earn,
Yeah.
you know, someone's trust and love in a way. Which, like, I don't know
Yeah.
how much truth there is to that. Like, I've definitely experienced some nasty cats before, right? But again,
Yeah.
I'm just here to defend from the cat haters. It just really boiled my
Yeah.
blood. It's me or the pets.
fair,
That
yeah.
argument in general annoys me. But I was like, back to
Yeah.
back, Jesse and Dochi, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
putting an end to it right now.
Yeah. Incredible.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. I know you're not a fan. I also was like, isn't Sarah allergic? Is this gonna fall on deaf ears here?
No, I'm good with cats. Yeah, I'm allergic, but my close friend here, she's got 2 cats that I lived with for a while, and I'll house sit for them. And they're a fun bunch.
Yeah.
Spencer and Sarah's House can be listened to on all podcast streaming platforms as well as watched on YouTube. You can find Spencer and Sarah on Instagram and TikTok at @SassHousePod, SAS Housepod. For bonus content like our Book Corner episodes, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/SassHousepod. Thanks for listening and supporting us. Now back to the episode. Okay, you can open your eyes.
Oh,
This is
what is this
my
gonna be?
presentation. This is a presentation I've titled Little American in the UK, and I wanted to list out the funny things being an American living in the UK that just happen over here. I've been here for over 6 years now, and there's things like I used to like keep a note of the weird things that have happened, or like that like weird cultural differences, like just different things that just like as an American you wouldn't know, or you'd be like, what the hell is this? That sometimes still make me go, huh? But I'm living in it, so I thought it'd be fun to list out some just to share for people that wouldn't know. And maybe people from the UK can get angry at me, but probably not. They'll agree. Okay, we've got some phrases first. The first one that really caught me off guard, this was the first one, like 6 months into living here, was the phrase, "You alright?" Which literally just means, it's the American version of how's it going. So you're not expected to like answer. They're not asking if you're okay. Like they're not concerned about you. I took it as like I'm giving off a vibe that I'm not okay, but that's not what there is. They just say, it's a how's it going? And you just go, yeah, you. It's the same response. They call bathrooms, restrooms, just toilet. So everywhere you go, where's the toilet? Can I use your toilet? Which to me still sounds weird, but I'm getting better at making it feel natural.
It is crazy because I think of that as like the actual object of the toilet. So it's like it's not wrong, but it feels way too direct. You don't know if that's what I'm going in there
it's
for.
So like, yeah, 100%.
Maybe I just need to check my hair.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then the next one is get stuck in, which is a phrase you'll hear like in the workplace where you're about to get stuck into something, which is like about locking in or getting sucked into an activity. But to me, I found it weird that like professional people would be like, let's get stuck in. And I'm like, what does that mean? But yeah, that's one. I don't know if I have more phrases. Okay, next. People will say the garden. They're referring to their backyard. They're not referring to an actual garden of like plants and like flowers and stuff like that. They're just any place that's green is a garden. Any land around your home is a garden. They also like to call shots, like flu shots, jabs.
So
and then
aggressive. But like
it
true.
really is. Yeah. Yep, you're getting jabbed. And the last one, which also really threw me off, lemonade means Sprite. So Sprite is just a brand that isn't very common over here. It is around, but it's not very common. So when you're looking, if you want to drink Sprite, like if you're at the pub or something and you want Sprite, you say, "Can I have a lemonade?" And you're gonna get. I guarantee you will get Sprite. You won't have to worry about getting the lemonade you're thinking of. You'll get Sprite.
What if you want the lemonade you're thinking of, though?
I believe that's called still lemonade.
Are you fucking with me? Or are you
No.
being serious?
I'm being serious. I think they call it still lemonade or what is it?
Oh my
Like
god, I guess that
fresh-
makes sense because Sprite is like carbonated, like sparkling water.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny. What the heck?
Yeah, it's really silly. But I have been having more Sprite over here than I have for some reason than I ever did in America. I don't know why. It's fun to call it lemonade and it just tastes better for some reason. Okay, moving on to I just put layout. Just like homes, environment, stuff like that. One, there are palm trees because lest we forget, the UK is an island. There are palm trees that just grow. There's one at like every house, which is kind of cool. It's nice to see. Two, window screens are not a thing. You don't have like a window that you open and there's like a screen protecting it. If you have one that slides up, bees are getting in. There's also windows that like push outward. Again, bees will get in. You have to like the workaround you can get is you can buy like a magnetic type of screen that you can place around your window that you can like lift on and off. But it's just not innate to the architecture here when a house is built.
Interesting.
And also front lawns, a very rare occurrence, at least in the city. But even like my experience in Nottingham, which is more suburban, front lawns aren't a thing. It's more like there's a back garden, but like the front, I've seen like one place nearby where I was like, oh my god, you have a front lawn. That's really cool. But it's not really not a common thing you'd see around here.
Interesting.
Yeah. Next. Okay, this is one that my mom just finds crazy. I don't know if you'll find it crazy. But washing machines are in the kitchen, typically. That's just where they go. There isn't like a laundry room for them. They just go in the kitchen, under the counter.
Interesting.
Like a dishwasher or a fridge. And dryers aren't really a thing. It's common to just air dry all your clothes. So you have a rack with your clothes hanging out for 3 days a week, every week. That sucks, but it is what it is. Next, there are doors for every room. So like
I've seen this, yes.
Yeah, there's doors for your kitchen,
Open layout,
the living
who?
room, each room. Yeah, no open layouts. Like you could like custom make an open layout, but like most of the time you have doors for every single room. And the last one is you can turn the electrical sockets where you can like plug in your chargers and stuff. You can control each one, like on and off. There's a little switch next to each one that you flick on and off, which just isn't a thing in America. I feel like in America, you just plug things in and you don't think about it. And over here, you turn it off to save electricity.
Yeah, I kind of like that, because isn't there like a thing where it's like, even if you like have an appliance turned off, but it's still plugged in, it's still like powered, like there's still electricity, right, in some way? Yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Precisely.
I think we should adopt that over here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Next, culture. This might be the last slide. 1, mayo seems, in my eyes, it seems like the biggest condiment over here. It's in everything. It's literally in I can't explain how much mayo is in everything. It's in every single sandwich. There are special sandwiches that don't come with mayo. It's just like people have fries with mayo, pizza with mayo. Like it's like that's the main. Burgers are ketchup and mayo. It's like that's the main one, is mayo. Mayo ranks higher than ketchup.
I love mayo. I'm behind this. I'm on board.
Fair. You'd love it here. Next, tea breaks at work. So when I had my first job here, it was a massive thing where like every hour and a half you would get like a tea break, and it was like 10 minutes where you would like you're expected like you could like leave and like you to get a break basically, but there's like specific like breaks for tea where you would like make yourself tea for work. And like nowadays, like in the office that I work at any point in the day, you just get up, go to the kitchen, make yourself a tea, and you spend 10-15 minutes making yourself a tea, and then you go back to work and you drink your tea, and then you go up and you do that just a million times a day. It's just a part of the culture that I think is cool because I love tea.
Very good.
And then the last one, and this is kind of what got me to think of this topic, so I was thinking about how silly this was like a few days ago. Sharing deodorant. So in the UK, the main deodorant item is a spray. So it's like an aerosol, like a spray thing. So in the UK, it's really common to be like, oh, do you have deodorant that I can use? So that they can like spray their arms. So it's like less of a deal to share it because you're just spraying. So it's like sharing like cologne or perfume. Whereas like the first time I was hearing this at a job, I was like, why are we sharing deodorant? I was like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And I was like, oh, they're spraying. Whereas I feel like in America, the common ones are the sticks that you use, which is a little less hygienic potentially. So that one was interesting. Yep, that's the last one. That's all I had to share. Those are my notes on living in the UK, my observations for the past 6 years.
On the ground reporting.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified because I was also imagining the stick and I was like, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, by default, I was like, stick, what are we doing? And then I was like, oh no, it's just spray. Cool.
I'm curious to know, like, why, is there like a history behind like why screens are not a thing, why dryers are not a thing, why doors on every room, you know, like why? There has to have been like some type of architectural thing that just like never went away, right?
That's a good point. Maybe my next BYOT topic will be the whys to all
British
of this.
architecture. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, like why do they not have a front yard, like being right on the street like that? I don't think that's like a bad thing, but like, yeah, it's just interesting. I feel like in America it's like, give me room, I want all the space and convenience, and also like doing anything to be different. Like instead of tea, we adopted, like, I feel like the tea thing is coffee here, and like, you know, stick deodorant instead of spray. How dare we? Ketchup is the main condiment, not mayo. It's like just almost the same, but just not really.
Yep. Definitely.
Interesting. Much to ponder.
It's a fun one. I'm still learning. Yeah, learning every single day new things as well. I've learned, oh, this is a fun one. The like, you know, if someone goes like this, what's your reaction?
Like, you got it. Or like whoever doesn't, well, it's like, I'm two things. Nose goes, but also like ding ding ding, like on the money.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Yes, yeah. So there was one time where someone was doing that, you got it right, but I think over here, at least when my experience in it, is they just point to their nose. They don't do the yes, and they don't acknowledge it either. They just point to their nose while you're speaking. And and so the first time that happened to me and someone did that, my instant reaction was to do it to my nose. And then I realized that they weren't trying to do a nose goes. It was just saying like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just feel like I probably saw that on TV once where it was like, yep, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on the nose. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. All right. feel like those were pretty good topics today.
Yeah, I agree.
Hell yeah.
What room do you think we were in?
I was imagining like sort of those like like slideshow parties people do. So like living room, and we just took turns standing up and being like, "Here it is."
Agreed.
Sick.
Agreed. Cool. Okay, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.